Hello everyone. Today we are going to look at a game that was taken out of this world, literally. So NASA's Mission Control challenged the astronauts at the International Space Station, which happened concurrently with the 2023 FIDE World Chess Championship, where Dingleren just beaten Nepo to become the world champion. Each team made one or two moves per day, and this is all according to a chess article from chess.com. If you want to check that out, I'll leave the link down below. So without further ado, let's take a look at one of the games they played. So from space, we have Frank Rubio, Woody Hoberg, Sultan Al-Niadi, and Steve Bowen. And from the Johnson Space Center, here on Earth, we have the unnamed flight directors. Be happy to share in the comments if you find their names on the internet, but now let's begin. So Mission Control has the white pieces, and the astronauts on the International Space Station has the black pieces. So the game started with e3, the astronauts respond with e5, and here we have knight f3 and knight c6. So here we have like a reversed Alekhines defense. So the Alekhines goes like e4, knight to f6, and e5, e6. So this is like the exact same position but reversed. So as you can see, so in this position, black should have played e4, and instead of that, we have knight to c6. So white responds d4, and now e4 by black. And here, a bold move was played by white, knight to e5, contesting the knight on c6, but black is not afraid of that move. Instead, they just take, and d takes e5, so doubling up the pawns. And here we have c6, which is a great move because it forks the king and the pawn. So to prevent that, white plays knight to c3, but queen to a5 anyway, and white responds with queen to d4, defending the e5 pawn. And this is the only move that defends that because f3 is met with en passant. So this is just a worse position for white. So after queen to a5, queen to d4 was played. And now we have bishop to b4, pinning the knight to the king, and here we have bishop to d2. So white did not take this because white can just take the knight, and after this, white loses a rook. Even with bishop to d2, the rook's still hanging, so black is completely winning in this position. So instead, white plays bishop to d2, defending, and f6, e takes f6, knight takes f6, and here we have a3 neutralizing the bishop. And here we have bishop takes c3, bishop takes, and the queen goes to f5. Long castles by white, d5, and f4. So f4 opens up line for the white to attack the king side. So after it takes f3, so white just opens everything up. So it's a great move. And it takes f3 was still played by black, and bishop to c4 now. So chess.com marks this as a blunder, but why is that? So after d takes c4, the idea was to play queen to d8 check. So trying to win the rook, and white has a good position after this, but black is not obliged to take that. So instead, black played f takes g2, and here we have bishop to d3. So instead of bishop to d3, white could have played rook hg1 because this is still not capturable because of the same thing, the same idea. But instead, white played bishop to d3. So now the rook is captured. So rook takes h1, queen to g5, and queen checks, queen defends, and queen to g5. And now black castles. Rook to g1, trying to attack the g7 pawn, So there's a threat of mate in 1 here, so rook f7, defending that. We have h5, just trying to storm in black's position. Bishop to d7, bishop to b4, knight to e4, attacking the queen, queen to h4, b6, bishop to, or h6, pawn to h6, and here we have c5, attacking the bishop, bishop to d2, retreating, g6, locking up the position, queen to e1, knight takes d2, queen takes d2, and now we have d4. So d4 opens up the diagonal for the queen, and white defends that with b3. So b takes e3 was played by black, queen to g2, bishop to c6 attacking the queen, bishop to c4 counter attacking, and what do you call this? Skewer. So queen to f6. This is an excellent move because, well, we'll see later. So white plays takes on rook, and here black plays a nice move, which is king to f8. Why didn't black take this bishop? Because the reason for that is if he takes, then there's another skewer here, or x-ray, I don't know what you call it, but that's the idea. So that's why black did not take it. He will lose a queen, so instead of that, king to f8 was played. So white plays queen to f1 here, and the idea is after queen takes, rook takes, the rook still defends the bishop. Although black's still winning because he's up 2 pawns. But there is an even better move by black here, and you can try to pause the video and try to find the best move for black here. So, if you were able to find the move, then congratulations. And if you didn't, so here's the answer to this puzzle. So it's actually mate in 1 with queen to a1. So this creates a mating net. This move created a mating net. This d takes e3. So the king cannot escape to d2 anymore. Whoops. The king cannot escape to d2 anymore, and the queen controls everything else. So the game was played at a very good level, to be honest. And the only big mistake was at move 14 with bishop to c4. I mean, it's a great idea, but you have to take into consideration that the enemy or the opposing side isn't always obliged to capture the pieces you sacrifice, and sometimes that leads to a worse position. And I think the game could have been saved here as well at move 15, and white could have played rook to g1 so that he wouldn't lose a rook, because this is still not capturable because of the same idea. So yeah, but the game was really good, and the astronauts won the game. So thank you for watching, and I hope you like this video, and see you on the next one.